Hello, welcome to STH English. Let me give you not a breaking news but a developing story concerning Modi government's latest trick around occupied Kashmir. I am watching some of the trends, and these trends tend to suggest that Modi government, which is under tremendous pressure domestically, is now attempting to create some sort of a diversion again. And again, the diversion base has to be occupied Kashmir. Why Modi government is attempting to do this? The pressure is mounting from within. You have seen these scenes of Congress leaders pounding Modi government outside the parliament, and Rahul Gandhi being denied the opportunity to speak inside Congress on Pahalgam and on the issue of war with Pakistan. Some disturbing questions he wanted to raise, Modi government didn't allow it. This is the surest sign that the pressure cooker within is boiling the Modi government. What sort of a new diversion is it trying around occupied Kashmir? I call it the second phase of the third fraud of India with regard to the occupied Kashmir. The first fraud, just to take you back many decades ago, was the so-called instrument of accession that the Maharaja of Kashmir was forced to sign and coerced into accepting, under which rules the Indian government at that particular point in time said that the Muslim majority state had acceded to the Indian Union territory. That was the first fraud. The second fraud was the so-called temporary Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, under which the center, that is Delhi, had a special arrangement with the occupied Kashmiri territory, controlling its various important fields like foreign affairs, commerce, and what you may have. And under the same article, created another provision under which the special status of the occupied territory was given some sort of a legitimacy, a political legitimacy, like allowing them to have their own assembly, their own anthem, their own flag, and what you may have. But it was a special arrangement. The third fraud, fast forward to August 2019, started with them abrogating and revoking the special status and doing away with Article 370 and absorbing Kashmir, occupied Kashmir, into the Indian Union as union territories. For those uninitiated in the complexities of Indian Constitution, let me tell you that union territories are short of like provinces and states in case of Pakistan and India, but they are directly ruled by the center as well. So the second phase of the third fraud, which is absorption of Kashmir in the shape of two territories, that is Kashmir and Jammu, and the other one is Ladakh as union territories. The Modi government is now trying to change this altogether. Now, the latest trick is unfolding, and there are many signs that tend to suggest that what they did in 2019, they are going to top it up by creating another fraud around occupied Kashmir. This time round, having revoked Article 370, which was the second fraud, based on the first fraud, which is instrument of accession, they perpetrated the third fraud, which is absorbing Kashmir as union territories. Now they are unfolding their second phase of the third fraud. Modi government is seriously contemplating of upgrading the occupied Kashmir territory to what they call a full statehood, which essentially means that they will be recognized as a full state of the Indian Union. And Modi government will then claim great victory, saying that now our agenda is complete as far as Kashmir is concerned. It has become part and parcel of the Indian Union as a state. We have granted them state which is of the equal status as perhaps in the 36 plus states that they have, and they will have full rights, and they will have budgets, and they will run their own affairs, and they will have all the representations and all the power and its trappings that are allowed to different states in the Indian Union. So therefore, it's a great achievement for us. Modi government will also try to pitch it to the Kashmiris, suggesting that you wanted more rights. We have given you more rights. On this, it reminds me of a famous saying by Malcolm X, who was told by one of his well-wishers, but not necessarily well versed with the way Malcolm X thought. He was reminded of the fact that the black community inside the US had made a lot of progress. There was a time when dogs and blacks were not allowed in parks. They were not allowed big jobs. There were no lawyers, no teachers. They had segregation in the buses. So Malcolm X was being reminded by this well-meaning but somewhat ignorant friend that you should not criticize the system too much because we have made progress. To which Malcolm X responded something like this, and I'm paraphrasing, that you stab a man with 14-inch long knife, you pull out that knife by 2 inches and you say that you've made progress. So Modi government trying to give Kashmiris statehood, likely to happen in the next couple of weeks, will be equivalent to the knife being pulled back by 2 inches. In fact, let me rephrase it. This is not a knife that is being pulled back by 2 inches. This is a knife that is being stabbed 2 inches further into the body politic of Kashmiris. Pakistan's stance on this has to be absolutely clear. Pakistan's stance is that whether it is the instrument of accession, first fraud, or Article 370, special status, second fraud, or the revocation of Article 370 and styling of occupied territory as a union territory, fraud 3, or the next phase, that is the second part of fraud 3, statehood. All of these are meaningless tricks. These are just gimmicks. What happens in between, whether you have a legislative assembly or representation, is also meaningless. It is just a distraction. Occupied Kashmir, whether it has a special status or it has the status of a union territory or it is going to be given a statehood, remains an internationally recognized disputed territory. Unless and until this is settled by United Nations Security Council resolutions, intent and purposes, according to that framework, nothing as far as occupied Kashmir is going to make any difference to the status of the territory. So yes, Modi government is attempting to now change the status from a union territory to statehood, but it will not materially affect Modi government's claim on Kashmir, which is false and fake, and it remains a disputed territory. The Indian government, after having tried different ways, is now moving in a direction where, having in their own way absorbed the occupied territory as a full-fledged state with statehood, is also bent upon. Let me give you another developing story here that we are watching very closely here in Pakistan. Will attempt to then restake its claim as far as Azad Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and will start to suggest that the only part of Kashmir that remains to be settled through kinetic means, it is the part that is, but they claim, occupied by Pakistan. This sets the tone for another conflict possibility between India and Pakistan. So Modi government, deflecting domestic pressure, is trying another trick. It is the second phase of the third fraud, and at the same time setting the stage for another conflict with Pakistan. That is the summary of the developments that are happening inside India. We in Pakistan are watching them very closely, and so should the world.